Hey, welcome back to Geekshow Helpdesk.
We back, baby. Let's go.
That's right.
Hey, everyone.
Just Jaron. Sounded
still
like
sick.
Jaron. How you feeling,
This is
Jaron?
my natural state. Just being
It's just
sick.
this is the new normal.
Yeah.
The new Jaron.
I hate
New
that.
year, new Jaron. Right there.
It won't clear out until March, by the way, once the air clears up here in the valley. So,
Yeah.
If you're lucky.
yeah.
This is the Geek Show Help Desk, where we talk about tech, gadgets, and sciencey things. Let's start off by introducing our panelists. Coming at you 2024, it's Owen.
Hey, everybody. Good to see you, hear you, whatever. You know what I'm trying to say. Good to be here in 2024. It's been a long winter break. My kids don't go back to school for a couple more days, which seems unfair since I had to go back to work today.
It is unfair. I
But,
agree.
But doesn't it seem fair that you can get away from them now?
Oh, absolutely. But normally I work from home.
So
but
less away.
I'm taking this opportunity to definitely go into the office.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So
As
catch
you
me on
do.
Twitter at TechNoan.
All right. He's new for 2024 as well. He's Jaron.
Hi, I'm Jaron. New and worse in 2024. You can find me on Twitter at Jaron. And that's it.
Okay.
It's going to be a rough year, guys.
Wow. Love the optimism. He's probably got more optimism than Jaron, but I'm not entirely sure for 2024. It's Lando.
Dude, you know what? It's Lando. I'm
what
pretty
I
sure
said.
2024 is going to be great. I'm expecting this year to be nothing but good things.
There we go.
To put it out the universe right now.
The
this
election
gonna be a
is this
good-
year.
That's not till the end, though. That's not till November.
That's
Nah,
future
it's-
Lando's problem.
Yep.
It's going to be the
Current
entire
Lando's
year.
super happy. Jaron, don't
In the
poop
news
on my
cycle.
parade. I hate that. Ugh.
Isn't
I
Jaron the
really,
worst?
really had to go.
Jaron is the worst.
And we have a
You were-
host.
I was going to
Name's
say
Tony.
that.
Hey,
I'm a host.
it's me. I'm the host.
With
Quad
the
T.
most.
That's right. Check me out on Twitter at Quad T Tony or on other Geek Show podcasts. All right. Let's see. 2024, it'll be our first emails of the year, if we have any. Do we have any?
Indeed, we do.
Oh,
There's any Lambo
yeah.
jokes, so help me.
There's gonna be.
There's got to be. I'll make one right now. Hey, Lambo.
Hey,
It's not funny when
Nah.
Tony does it.
All right.
Should I
Got an
post
email
the picture,
from...
the picture that Jordan sent me just now onto the Patreon Discord.
That wasn't
They
your
think-
picture, man. That's theft.
I'm gonna repost. I don't care.
Oh,
Go ahead,
that's a guy-
Jaron. Sorry,
That's
to interrupt.
me from probably like 20 years ago.
Well, now we have to post it.
Yeah, more than that. Wow.
We got
For
an email
internal-
from...
That's for internal use only, Lando. Sorry, bud.
No, it's only for Patreons. If they want to see it, they gotta subscribe. Become a Patreon.
Who died and made you the Patreon daddy? Not me.
There's other people in that picture that might not want to be on.
I'll blur
Yeah.
their faces right now.
Yeah.
This is
okay.
true. Anyway, Nick Hatton says, "Hey, Helpdesk. Recently, you were talking about a 400 megawatt geothermal plant.
Yeah.
Usually, when a power plant output is given like that, it means that the plant can output 400 megawatts at any one point in time. If the plant can run continuously for an hour, then it would have generated 400 megawatts per hour. In the case of thermal plants, gas, coal, anything steam-based, usually the 400 megawatts is probably either the rated output, or it might be the contractually allowed output of the point of interconnection, POI.
Interesting. Okay.
If you're talking wind or solar, things get a little iffy. While the maximum rated or allowed output of a wind or solar plant might be 400 megawatts, the reality is that you need wind of a certain speed or solar irradiance of a certain strength to hit that target. And often the plants do not get that fuel. So if you replace a 400 megawatt gas plant with a wind farm, you might need a lot more than 400 megawatts of wind power to cover the plant's output. You might also need to put it in different places to catch wind at different times of the day. It gets tricky. The difference in rated output and actual output feeds into the capacity factor. A wind farm will have much lower capacity factor usually than a thermal plant, due to mostly to the fact that we have no control over how much fuel the wind farm gets. The other piece of that would be whether the unit gets scheduled to produce power or not. Thanks for bringing up the geothermal plants. They are super interesting. If they can get the enhanced geothermal into regular production, it might help fill the void that the small modular reactor guys left behind. Regards, Nick, Napalm, and Fries to Go, Hatton.
Good point there, Nick. I think
Yeah.
that's very
We were
interesting.
talking about that. We were wondering how they rate that.
Yeah, and I think it makes a good point there too. It fills a void that might have been left by other things, and that's the whole thing about renewable, energy or whatever. Is there's not going to be any silver bullet, one thing that fixes it all. It's going to be a combination of technologies. Geothermal being one of them, wind being one of them, solar being another one, et cetera, et cetera. That's what's going to get us out of the energy crisis that may or may not be on the near to not that near horizon. So, yeah, there you go.
Got another email from Jeremy. He says, "Greetings and salutations, Landon et al."
Wow.
Yes, I love you so much right now.
Oh,
my new favorite listener.
Don't do
I
this.
was hoping to get y'all's opinion on water-cooled computers.
You got it.
Context.
You got it, no problem.
You don't know anything about computers.
Yeah, this is not for
I can make it up.
Orlando.
I can do this. My favorite listener. I got you, buddy. I got you. I'll get
It's
you
not.
through this.
It's not a Mac. So
What's his name, Lando?
Calm down.
Jeremy.
Okay, well played. Well
All
played.
right. Context.
You win this round.
I have many cats. Therefore, my house has a pretty steady supply of fur and dust in the air, regardless of cleaning interval.
Mm-hmm.
I have a pretty decent rig now, but I am cleaning the fans and blowing it out almost monthly to make sure it stays nice and clean on the inside.
Wise. Very smart.
Oh, that's nuts. I've never cleaned out the inside of my computer.
You should
Cats.
do it, Jared.
In a couple of years, I hope to be wrapping up a major life goal, and a super rad PC will be my completion present to myself. I haven't had dedicated gaming time since the pandemic, and I'm going to make up for lost time once this goal is met. My thought is, if I build a water-cooled system, it will drastically cut down on the amount of air intake the new rig requires, thereby reducing the dust and cat hair that makes its way into the rig and onto the internal components. Is this how it actually works, or am I off base? Would the water-cooled system seal the computer the way I imagine, or is there a better way? TLDR, water-cooled system greater blowing out once a month? Less dust and hair greater and more dust and hair? Gaming power of water-cooled system greater than equals to power of traditional air-cooled?
This TLDR, man.
Landon greater than Lambo? Not a question, just a fact.
Is a fact.
Thanks
Disagree.
for the opinions / advice / blueberries / commentaries, fellows. Jeremy. P.S. Love the new format, and I'll catch you in the in-between.
Thank you,
In between's
Jeremy.
the best.
Well, I got bad news for you, Jeremy.
You still need air.
You're still going to have to clean out your filters just as often because the way that liquid cooling works basically is just instead of having a heat sink on the device itself, you're just moving that heat off of there via a tube that's connected to radiators that need air from outside your PC.
Yep. Okay, Tony, okay. But could you put that filter and radiator separate from the rest of the PC components so you're only cleaning like this segregated compartment, so to speak?
They're in the PC though.
Well,
they're
you
they're in the
could.
tower.
Could you,
right?
but could you do a
I've seen
separate
some people do it
compartment?
where they run long tubes and actually put the cooling solution in a different place.
Oh, that'd be crazy.
But that introduces a whole host of other potential issues that I would just not even recommend going down that road.
What if I bought like 2 cases? Would that solve my problem?
Then you're just gonna have to clean the
Well,
dust
yeah, I
on
know
the
I still have to
case.
clean one case. The problem I'm trying to solve here, though, is there'll be less cat hair and dust on the actual motherboard
But
components.
you still run
there-
into the problem that Tony just mentioned.
There won't be any cat hair or dust on the motherboard anyway because you're gonna have filters on all of the intakes anyway, like he already does have. All the modern
that's the
cases
thing.
come
There you
with mesh filters, and if they don't, well, then you just need to buy some and put them on there because they're absolutely necessary for keeping that kind of crap off of your components. Because the last thing you want is a cat hair or something that will bridge
Gross.
two
Wow,
circuits.
I see cat hair flying in the air in Owen's office
Oh,
now.
don't blow it out, Owen.
Oh,
no.
Owen.
No, Owen. Only do that outside, my friend.
Oh, Owen no longer has tech cred.
My Plex server needs it.
It needs the dust. It needs the cat hair.
That's good for
I
Plex.
collect it with my gaming PC, and then I blow it down to my Plex server.
That's how. Yep. This
Seems to work fine.
And
You know,
speaking of
reduce,
which,
reuse,
Owen,
recycle.
Just as a side note, we're seeing backstage Owen right now. It's the best.
Oh, oh my gosh, that was ridiculously hideous. I'm so sorry you had to see that part of my house.
That's what was stressing me out. I was
I
feeling
know.
stressed, and I couldn't figure out why.
was
But
back-
Sorry.
Backstage Owen.
I'm so sorry. I'm so
Sharon
sorry.
was getting triggered by
If
some
you
clutter.
you don't get to have more than this 4-foot space.
I don't think I want more than
The curated
than that.
Owen.
Very
Yeah.
curated.
The best parts.
The only
you
part
get
of the
rid-
wall that's painted is right behind me. Everything else.
Could you get rid of that empty plastic cup behind you, please?
There's
This one or this
still
one?
That one. Both
Both
of them.
of them.
Both of
actually.
them, if you could. Yes,
I
thank
still-
you.
these?
I
was
still-
using these today.
I still see wafts of cat hair
these have
floating
been
through
Yeah.
the camera
These have both
sometimes.
been here for more than a week. I'm just saying.
Yeah, sure. You were using them both today, right?
Is that a plug on the
No.
wall, Owen? Since we're talking about Owen right now, is there a wall in the middle of a plug in the middle
there.
of your wall?
Yeah, that's there for some reason.
No, that's great because you can do lighting and stuff for shelves off of
Yeah.
a plug like that.
But is he going to do lighting?
oh no,
That's the
but
real question.
Okay, all right.
Anyway,
Settle down. Settle down.
Sorry, that was
anyway,
that was
back to what
squirrel
we
for
were
sure.
talking about. Jeremy's question. So, my
My new favorite
TLDR,
listener.
my new my TLDR for this is don't go water. That's actually what I'm gonna say because I don't think I'm gonna go water cooled on my next build in any
I
way,
didn't.
shape, or form. And the only thing I have right now is the CPU cooler. Is all-in-one closed loop water where it's just two tubes that go up to a radiator. It's all built in together. You just slap it on the CPU and the motherboard.
It's sealed.
Yeah, it comes pre-filled, all of that jazz.
Right.
And even that I've decided is just a little more of a hassle than I want to do. And the higher end air coolers now do just
so
as
good.
just as good of a job as the liquid cooled stuff. Same with the higher end GPU air units. They cool just as good as liquid cooling. The only time you're going to want to do liquid cooling is if you want to go way hardcore into overclocking and stuff like that. And the thing is components now, they just either A, don't benefit from overclocking like they used to because manufacturers are now pushing them to their limits right out of the factory, or B, they no, I guess that was kind of all of it. But yeah, so if you want more performance, we're in a situation now where you just got to buy the next tier up. Overclocking doesn't get you really anything anymore as far as straight performance wise. If you're chasing a record or something, you're going to need liquid cooling or even, LN2 cooling, stuff like
Liquid
that.
cooling can look cooler, though,
It can.
from a looks factor.
It can look really neat, especially when you see some of those hardline tubes that are like copper and stuff like that. It looks super cool. But the actual utility of it isn't
Well, my
noticeably
understanding is
better.
hardline tubing is like super like hard to do and super like detail oriented. Like
It is.
Not
You have
for
to
the
be
faint of heart.
exact. Yep, you have to be exact in your measurements. You have to also consider how long you want these components to be in there because you're not going to want to be taking that apart to throw a new graphics card in. Once you get in there, you're locked into that as long as you want to keep that computer in one piece because it's a hassle.
I have a friend who liquid cooled his entire machine, custom everything, and it looked freaking cool for sure.
Looks awesome, yeah.
But when he upgraded to the 4090, he had such a problem because he had to get a specific model with a specific water block,
Yep.
and he even got that, ended up not working, and he had to redo everything. And it
Oh.
was hours of work when it should have been just like minutes of work.
And cost factor. If you want to go custom liquid cooling, plan on an additional, I don't know, $300 to $600 versus not going liquid cooling. So yeah,
Did Linus did some pretty good
he's done all kinds.
scientific reviews
Oh,
of this,
oh,
right?
the
like,
reviews. Yeah.
again,
for those of you who
like
can't
compare-
see us, those are
did-
heavy air quotes.
I did air quotes.
scientific.
Yes, I did some air quotes, but so like he's checked against like these Noctua blowers versus
So-
like the water cooled and didn't find.
Linus has done it. Gamers Nexus has done it. Jay's
Yeah.
2 Cents has done it.
Go
and
check
they all-
them out.
They all come to the same conclusion that you're paying a lot more money and having a lot more hassle for low single digit percentage increases. It's
The
just-
aesthetic is cool, and it can be a
That's for-
little bit quieter,
that's a different thing. If you want it for
but-
the aesthetic, then go for it.
and
But
it can be a little quieter too. I feel like the radiators, fans.
even
bigger.
now.
Yeah,
Even now with
newer-
the bigger, newer CPU coolers,
They
are
don't.
dead quiet.
yeah, my Noctua fans are quiet.
Yep.
For sure.
So there you go. There's a long answer to to a medium length email.
I even tried to make it work, but didn't work.
Lando's response to that is just buy a Mac.
It really
Rando's
is.
response was pushing false hope because he felt flattered by Jeremy.
It's true. I'm not going to deny it.
Or you could just do the vegetable oil or the oil cooled. Have you seen those
mineral
ones?
oil.
Mineral oil.
If you want to get really hairy,
There you
man.
go. Do a mineral oil computer. Go look those up. Those are a lot of fun to see, not do.
Well, then you'll have to be skimming the top of your mineral oil to get the cat hair off the top. Fully submerged. All right, there you go. Any more emails?
Nope.
All right. Well, thanks for writing in. We always appreciates that. Let's see. New year, new year. So what are we going to talk about? Well, I could tell you what we're going to talk about next week. More than likely is going to be a whole buttload of CES news because that is happening in the next within the next few days. And that'll probably be most of the stuff we talk about for the next 2 weeks because there's always lots and lots of CES
I miss
news.
going to CES. It's been a number of years since I've been, and I miss it.
It's pretty rad. I think I'd like to go one more time before it inevitably goes the way of E3 because I'm sure
You think
it's
it's
only
going
a
to
matter
go? You
of
think
time.
so?
I don't know. I think people
It's been
still have to
getting
put their
bigger.
hands on these gadgets. It's not like
There's more of a
you know,
hands-on aspect of it
and
for
they
sure.
and they typically have some type of tactile prototype for you to mess with. So
Yeah.
I feel like CES has got some time left on the clock.
I hope it I hope it
I
does.
so.
It's a really cool. It's a really really cool convention if you can get in.
They are-
We had to fake our way in because you're only supposed to be in if you're actually a part of the industry, whether it's you're
Hey,
making something.
Don't sell
or-
myself short.
We
Six upbring.
signed up as journalists in the loosest of senses.
Yeah. we are,
But
Come
it
on.
worked. It worked.
We
you know?
are journalists.
You got that right. Define journalist, huh? I think we fit that.
I
definition.
would prefer not to, please.
Don't do
Thank
it.
you.
All right, let's see. Let's kick it off with not great news of 2024. The Prime Adpocalypse is nigh. Amazon Prime, starting January 29th, will be
this.
showing ads, unless you want to pony up a little extra dough each month.
Well,
Is that getting
Think
turned on
about
by
it.
default?
Yeah.
It is.
So
Don't
the-
try and defend this,
the-
Jaron.
every single
No.
every
Just
single
don't
service
offense.
out there has had a price increases. Apple TV Plus, even your favorite little
It's the
company
worst.
there.
No, I hate it. It's
Disney
the
Plus,
worst.
Netflix,
Yeah, but
everyone.
Prime has had price increases too over the years.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but this time it's staying the same technically, unless you want to pay more, $36 more a year
A year, it's $3 a month, $2.99 a month.
if you don't want
which
ads.
I would say, not to defend them, but that is pretty reasonable.
I know.
Because
I
you're-
feel like
you're
no
usually-
ads. I
you're
feel like no
usually-
ads should be table stakes for any streaming service. It should have been like
It's
it
not
was.
for Hulu.
I
It
would-
was.
I
Hulu's
would ag-
never. Hulu's always
the
been.
thing.
It's
like
not
a
for Apple
free-
TV Plus. They have pre-roll trailers on everything you watch, which is
I would
annoying.
I would
Pre-rolled-
agree with you. I would agree with you, except the precedent for it is ad supported because when cable rolled out, everyone thought, I'm going to be paying for my TV, and nobody blinked or batted an eye
But here's
when
the
commercials were
difference.
included.
Right.
And this is the same thing. This is
No,
the growth
no.
of streaming, just like the growth of cable.
Well, that's
except
No.
we had
I
we
disagree.
had a beautiful time where there was no ads.
Streaming started out saying, like Netflix's slogan was like no ads.
Yeah.
Like that was how they pulled
Well-
people away from TV.
Well, that's why
All
I
of them
paid
did.
for it.
Yeah.
You have to understand the steady need to increase your revenue
Right,
every
of
year.
course.
So they needed strings to
Capitalism.
pull.
Yep.
Levers
This
to
was
pull
one of the
here.
levers.
This is one of the levers.
Here's
So-
my
Pulls
thing.
the
It's like
string.
Now-
I understand I need to pay for content. Like I get it. I'm going to pay for content, either whether that be with my time by watching ads or with my wallet by actually paying for the services. The thing that drives me the most bonkers out of anything else is when I pay for something and have to pay for it again via my time.
That's what cable is, though. It's a
cable.
precedent
which
has
is
been
stupid.
set.
I hate
Which
it. I think it's a stupid precedent.
Like I agree. Like for
Oh,
one,
yeah.
I don't want ads, but on the other hand, I pay $1 a month for Hulu because each year during Black Friday they have a deal where you get Hulu for $1 a month with ads, and I watch Hulu infrequently enough where I can deal with the ads. right?
Yeah, exactly.
And maybe that's the way
I-
for
but
a
I-
lot of people with Prime.
I remember
But I watch Prime a lot. Like,
Yeah,
and I
me
feel
too.
like Prime
I do
Prime
too.
compared to Hulu is not even comparable. Like those,
I'll-
the
I'll
content.
I'll say this though. What does Prime cost a year? $120, I think.
I think it's like 180 now, isn't it?
Has it
Yeah,
gone up
it's
that much?
it's gone up a
180.
ton, and
Okay,
everyone just
so-
pays it.
So 180 a year, and this isn't me trying to defend them for adding ads. You know, that's not my point here. I'm just I'm comparing apples to apples. For $180 a year, you're getting all the Prime content plus
2-day
unlimited
shipping.
free shipping and all the other stuff that Prime comes
Can you
with.
break?
Twitch,
Can you break that
Twitch
service
free
apart?
Twitch games.
You
Can you
cannot
break
break that.
That's what I would like them to do. Like,
Yeah.
let's say you pay $180 a year, choose 3 services you want.
Right. Yeah.
Because I don't care at all about Amazon Music.
Yeah, I don't care about that
Nope.
either.
And so, like, I would like to choose free shipping and Prime Video, and that's
Yeah.
it.
Pick 2. You know.
Yep.
So yeah, that's it. It is. I agree. It sucks, and it could.
If you
but
do a lot
my-
of shopping
what I'm
on
saying
Amazon,
is
it's worth it.
it could be worse. I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah. So it's going up. It's going up. What, $3 a year or
$3
$3 a month?
$3 a month if you want to opt
Or
in.
you got to pay with your time and watch ads
Yep.
Ugh. I don't know if I can
on
do
top
that.
of the price you're already
Like, what do
paying.
you know what this does? You know what this does? It just makes people be like, I'm just gonna go download it. Like,
Yeah.
Well, that's
I'm
the
not-
point we're getting to, right?
might.
Because with cable is so
most
much
people,
money.
Yeah, people left. People left cable for no ads. I pay gladly for
Here's-
Netflix and Disney Plus.
And you
For
can
no
still
ads.
play gladly for no ads.
More.
You just
I
have
have
to
to pay
play
more
a little
now.
bit more gladly.
Here's what I
Here's
think,
the problem: is it's so expensive now. I'm paying more than I was paying for cable.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
With no ads.
If
You
you
know
have
what
a
I'm saying?
bunch
Before
of
the cord cutting was great because you're like,
Yeah.
cool, I'll pay for this certain like Netflix and maybe just Disney or whatever. It's
They
just,
hooked you
it's
on the
so
drug.
Expensive now.
I see what you're saying there, Owen, as far as like how you don't, it's going to push people to piracy. I disagree, though. It will push you to privacy. Everyone else will just pay the $3. I think
I don't know.
I think 99% of users will either opt to watch the ads or
I
pay
think-
the $3.
I think-
1% of users
think
will
you're
say,
right,
"Fine,
Tony.
I'm going to pirate it."
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. I don't think so. I think piracy is getting easier to do.
No way.
I think it's getting
No.
easier.
I disagree because
Not,
like
not if you want to. Not if you want to do it right. Anyway.
Right. Yeah.
And it's
pay
hard to
pay
do
for
right.
a
Gotta
Plex
set-
lifetime subscription.
You got to pay for a VPN. You got to know where to look to
Yeah.
find the
You
torrents.
don't really need to pay for VPN. You don't really need to have a Plex server.
Like I said, if you want to do it right.
Yeah, of course.
At
But
the very
Otherwise,
minimum,
the
you need to have
experience is
VPN.
terrible.
Yeah.
It depends on
and
pirate.
you
I
have
guess-
to wade through all the different torrents to make sure you're getting a high quality one
Well, and I
versus
guess-
360p.
And
you know.
I guess the question is really at some point this extra $30, like this almost pushes me out of my ability to afford Prime, right? Like that's like so there's going to be a bunch of people that I would say that aren't just that don't choose to go off of Prime but have to over this price increase
mean-
if they don't want ads, right? Like
think-
if they
I
yeah,
agree.
well,
absolutely
they'll just
can't
choose to
stand
watch
it.
the ads. You know.
If they did
Or
something
just
like
cancel
Hulu did,
altogether.
does Hulu still let you watch all the ads up front, like a big 3 or 4 or 6 minute ad? And
Only
They
if it's
do
a
on.
movie.
It depends
Only
on
if
the
it's a movie.
show.
If it's a TV show, no. If it's a movie, yeah.
Okay. Because I could get behind that if Prime did that or some they did that where they're like, look, here's your ad. You got to watch it for 7 minutes and then you're good to go. I'd be like, well, okay. But
Yeah, it just has limited advertisements. It doesn't give you kind of how
I don't
it
know.
works.
It's to
But
the
they
point
want-
now. I've been going through a bunch of subscriptions and just like my budget's so tight nowadays, I can't afford just one more thing. Right? It's just always one more thing. It seems like every
that's how they
month
get
there's
you.
one more thing.
It's a
Yeah,
couple
I
bucks
didn't-
here
There's,
and there.
there's a breaking
Drop
point,
something.
right? There's a breaking point for everybody, and it's like I just canceled HBO because it was just too much.
You mean Max? Max.
Whatever.
yeah,
But like Prime's
What
up
a
on the chopping block,
failed
Netflix is on the chopping
rebrand
block.
that
You know,
was.
yeah.
Yeah.
if I paid
fair.
for Paramount Plus, it would have been gone years or months ago.
No. I think, and this is all about data, right? Like ad revenue they found is still driving sales of products like kids toys and all sorts of things.
Which
and
is
now
bonkers to me.
And
Well, that's-
like
and
my
that's
kids
why-
don't even understand what ads are. Like we'll watch like
this?
we'll watch a show, like we'll turn on TV, like YouTube TV or something, and an ad will come on and they're like, "What?" Or we went over to my grandma's house, our grandma's house, my mom's house, and she still has
Regular
coaxial, Comcast
I've had this
cable,
experience.
and ads came up, and they were like, and they saw the toys because it was before Christmas. We went over there for a pre-Christmas party, and they were like, "I want that." And I was just like, "Oh, that's the worst." Like that's the act. And I was like, and then I was like,
yeah.
"Wait, but how did you know what we wanted for Christmas when we were kids?" And she's like, "I would get all of you. I would sit you down in front of cartoons and TV, and I would stand back and watch the ads and see which ones you guys reacted to the most. And
Genius.
then I would write that down."
Mm-hmm.
And
genius.
that was how I did Christmas. And I was like, "Oh, okay, that's not bad. That's not a bad idea." Because we were like, "What do you want?" We gave him a toy catalog because we got like a toy catalog in the mail, and we were just
A
like,
Prime one, right? An Amazon one.
yeah, and we were like, "Hey, just circle what you want." Guess what happened?
Everything.
Yeah, they circle everything.
They were just
Everything's
like-
special and nothing's
they're
special.
like, I need
No,
another. I need
say-
the marker. My marker dried out.
No. It's easy. Say you get 10 circles. Bam.
Oh yeah, that seems anti-Christmas.
No.
Pick
Santa
whatever
Claus
you.
has magic and elves, Jaren. Why
whatever
only
you want.
10?
Do you want to push greed and false expectations? Yeah, sure, go for it. Whatever.
Consumerism, buddy.
You want to hear the best Christmas story? Just real quick. My daughter and my son were in the backs of the car, and my daughter goes, "I don't need to write down my Christmas list because Santa Claus can read my mind." My wife and I are going, "Uh-oh."
Oops.
My son looks over and goes, "Yeah, but do you really want to risk it?" It
He
was.
did?
He said those exact words. It was the best moment in the entire world.
That's so funny.
Sorry, that was a sidetrack story for
That's
sure.
Hilarious.
was a
All
good one.
right. Well, there you go. We'll see. We'll see what happens. How those ads shake
When
out.
does that? When does that start?
29th. 29th of this
January.
month.
Gotta
Dang it.
finish Reacher.
I don't even know if it'll be done by then because
I
they do
know.
a weekly
I was
drop.
Probably
upset by
right.
that. I sat down to binge that, and we watched 5 episodes. Do you know how long that is? That's a lot of TV.
It's like 5 hours.
That's a lot. We sat there for a long time making poor life choices, way into the wee early hours of the morning. Because what do I got to get up for? And then it wasn't even done. I couldn't even binge it all the
That's
way
a
in.
cry for help, Owen.
What do I have to get up for?
Oh yeah, that's another one. My
No,
pet
it's winter
streaming
break.
peeves
It's winter
is a
break, and I'm
weekly
off work.
release.
Like, I had nothing to.
You know what's funny though is you think about this, and the Amazon Prime Video stuff was an added bonus when it first launched.
Oh, absolutely.
Because they didn't have anything in the library to begin with, and
Yeah.
you were already paying for it because it didn't. I don't think did Prime launch with video or was it just the
Yeah.
free shipping?
No, initially it was just the free shipping.
Yeah,
but
that's
Prime
what I
Video came
think.
along soon after.
It was like
but their
within a year or
UI,
two.
But their UI
Oh, it was trash.
awful, and
Garbage.
everybody's
Still
like,
not
still
great.
it's still not.
great,
It's
but-
better, but it's still not great. Like,
And this is how they've gotten you is you become so used to it being added
content,
value,
right? Content is king,
extra
right? It's,
content, added
right.
value, and now they're like, oh, come on, just another $3.
I think they have the strongest lineup out of any streaming service now.
Really?
personal-
They do, yeah.
For me, yeah.
I think
for
they have a really
Amazon,
strong lineup.
Amazon
but-
originals are great.
And you know, this isn't me shilling, but Apple TV's lineup for me is super good.
also-
Apple TV really hits the sci-fi stuff. It scratches that itch for me.
Did they do
I'd like to
Foundation?
do
Did they
that
do
someday.
Foundation? Was that Apple TV?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that was
For
a
All
great-
Mankind?
Oh,
For All
yeah.
Mankind is
Oh,
absolutely
man.
phenomenal.
How do you not know that, Owen? How do you not know that Foundation wasn't on Apple TV?
I did. I just can't remember. I always get
can't.
Paramount and
You can't remember
Apple
where you
TV Plus.
downloaded it from?
no, I can't. I don't know. I can't remember who does which studio because I
Yeah.
always get. What's the other one I get
Right.
confused? Perseverance or
Severance,
Severance?
also Apple.
Perseverance.
Also Apple, yeah. That's another thing. Yeah, that's Apple just has the best. I think they have the best sci-fi lineup. Prime's a
Silo
fairly
is
close
so
second,
good.
though. Prime has a really good sci-fi lineup, too. All right, enough of that. Let's see. Let's talk about OpenAI, and Owen has an update here on what actually went down.
Ooh, this is kind of spicy.
Getting some
So-
juicy.
So you guys remember? It's kind of old news now, but OpenAI, they fired Sam Altman. Kind of surprising.
What?
Right?
Side note, did you see that I think Time named him CEO of the year?
Which is crazy.
Can you believe that?
But we finally got some words out of one of the board members that did this. She went on to a news show and kind of gave her side of the story with still skirting the line between some sort of, it sounds like gag order, but I don't know. It feels like. Anyway, what happened was that OpenAI came out. The OpenAI's whole structure is kind of weird. They have this nonprofit, which is what they're founded from, and that's what they're kind of going for, is responsible AGI, artificial general intelligence. And then OpenAI and ChatGPT came out and started their business arm, right? And that business arm is what's making money, and so that's what Microsoft was interested. But OpenAI is still run by a nonprofit board, right? So they have
Super weird.
imagine that, like internal capitalism versus altruism,
Yeah.
right? Like weird.
Oil and water.
One is trying to make money. That's their whole goal, ChatGPT. The other one is trying to save the world, and they don't always go hand in hand, right? Like they don't always believe the same. So this lady, I want to get her name right. Helen Toner was one of the board members. She wrote a paper. She went and wrote a paper about the dangers, the danger of AI, and that it needs to be controlled and cut back and watched. And Sam Altman didn't like that because it made it kind of look like OpenAI and ChatGPT was going against its own, like, left hand, right hand thing. And so he basically says, you publicly shamed us, and he starts going around to the other board members, of which there's only 4, I think.
It's a very small board.
It was small, like 4 or 5.
6.
Yeah. Counting him, it was 6, I think. And he went to them individually, starting to try and make a campaign to get her fired. And turns out they talked to each other, and they started comparing notes about all the ways he talked to them. And they were like, wait, what did he say? And there were some implications. He basically he said it without saying it, but he implied that, there might be some other members of the board that want to get rid of her. But the problem is, I don't think he expected those board members, the 3 main ones,
To like talk.
to talk to each other and
And
confront, and they did. And
That's like the old dad said I can't do this, but I think I'll ask mom instead. And she says yes, I'm good to go.
be like, I already talked to your dad. And so they compared notes, and they that really started undercutting their trust in him, because it really showed some seedy, kind of manipulative,
Underhanded.
political, corporate treachery. And so they fired him because that really eroded their trust in his ability to run the company honestly, which is OpenAI's one of their main mandates as the nonprofit, is that AI be run responsibly and honestly for the betterment of humanity.
So he got fired because he couldn't read the room properly.
He got fired because he didn't think he thought his bonds were stronger than they were with the other members of the board, and they talked. So then what they didn't plan for, the board was not prepared for, was the complete and utter fallout of the entire company without Sam Altman at the head, right?
Yeah.
During that same time when Sam was when he was out, before Microsoft, they kind of bluffed their way to force him back. What's his name? Nadella?
Satya Nadella.
Satya Nadella. He was like, put him back on. They were like, no. So then Microsoft flexed their purchasing power and basically said, well, then we'll make our own AI arm. And anybody that wants to come over here,
We'll hire Sam Altman.
and anybody that wants to come over from OpenAI has a job here.
Your whole org.
Yeah. And they just were like, But one of the things they did during that weird transition was that those board members actually went to Anthropic. And Anthropic is OpenAI's competition. They're their main competition. Anthropic has stayed a lot more nonprofit. They've stayed a lot more true to the OpenAI mentality with theirs, instead of this, to the OpenAI's mentality with altruism versus capitalism. And they tried to get the CEO to step in, or to buy OpenAI. They were just gonna sell it to him to protect it, or merge. They were going to merge to protect and stop Sam Altman and Microsoft from being able to get back in. And the CEO of Anthropic went, "This is nuclear. Like,
Yeah, no,
this
thank
is
you."
Maybe on a different day. Man, I haven't had enough drinks for this." And so, of course, then those board members resigned. They rehired Sam Altman. Press was too much. Power of the people was actually too much, which was super bizarre to actually see that work.
I think
You
it
know-
only worked because OpenAI is such a young company.
Yeah.
If an older established company had done this kind of stuff, they wouldn't have cared what the
And-
public said, really.
Yeah, and I think that Microsoft, like, if it had been Microsoft, if Microsoft had been supporting this instead of opposing it, it would have just been like, well,
Yeah, it
like, we don't
probably
care.
would've, yep.
Because they're that older type of, like, we don't care. Same thing, like, remember when Activision and Bobby Kotick was like, they were just like, he's horrible. And then they just, like, let him stick around.
Yeah.
He's out now.
He's out finally,
The
yeah.
shareholders were like, yeah, but he makes us a lot of money.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
And they were just like,
Money.
So, but yeah, so he didn't like that so Altman just didn't like that criticism that Toner did, kind of against the speed at which OpenAI was doing. She called it irresponsible. And so, yeah, they ultimately got the three board members are out. They have a whole new board now, I believe. And so, before he was reinstated CEO, this is one of the things they put in the article. Altman offered to apologize for his behavior towards Toner over her paper. According to people familiar with the matter, ultimately, he returned to the lead of the company without following that gesture. So,
Without apologizing.
yeah,
Never mind. I
fine.
don't
I'll say,
need to.
fine. I'll say I'm sorry. Actually, you know what? Nadia Satella had Satya Nadella had my back, so
They already let me back in, so I don't need
Yeah,
to bother.
I don't have to do that.
apologizing.
Yeah.
Screw that.
so.
Jeez.
Anyway, it was a bunch of drama, and it all started kind of over that weird capitalism versus nonprofit, thing, and it's a very weird structure. I don't know that there's another company that runs a for-profit company with a nonprofit parent board, and so
Yeah, and all of that went down over the course of like 6 days.
yeah.
which in corporate America is like, that is like the train running full tilt off the rails speed.
Yep.
All of that to happen in 6 days. Yeah,
And
that's
one of the
crazy.
lawyers was like, if ChatGPT fails, that could be a violation of fiduciary duties to whatever. And she said, good, that's on message, that's on brand.
Yeah.
Like OpenAI basically says, if we can't do this right, if we can't do this right and do what's right for humanity, we're not going to do it. We'd rather close down. Not anymore though.
Now it's if we can't make as much money as possible.
Yeah, now it's like, actually, never mind. It's almost like the balance of power flipped between capitalism and that's what happens with money. So,
Yep.
So there you go. It's crazy. You can go read more about it because I'm sure this is a couple weeks old now. But so there's more out there now if you want to go follow up on that. But it was super interesting to see a little bit behind the dramatic curtain.
Let's see. Here's a quick one. Windows 11 reinstalls may become easier than ever. Jaron, this is for you.
Don't give me false hope.
So, Mister, I haven't reinstalled Windows 11 since I did it 4 years ago.
Wait, what?
No, it was an upgrade in place from Windows 10. So I'm running on my
You're running on a dirty foundation.
Super dirty.
my original.
Whoa.
Well, I just fix things as they come along.
I don't have to fix things though. Wouldn't you just rather not fix things?
But it's quicker to fix things.
Dude, you
Is
gotta load.
it though?
Usually, yeah.
I
I
mean,
have definitely spent a
we've
lot longer
yeah.
trying to fix something than
well,
reinstalling Windows.
when you've
Yeah.
customized everything so much,
Like
if I start from the beginning,
That
it would be
alone.
a huge pain.
we've come back to podcasts and you're like, oh, I spent 7 hours trying to fix this one pixel, and we're like,
I gotta get
you
3
should've
more
just-
frames.
Should have just reinstalled it. Probably would have fixed it. No, I fixed it. 7 hours.
You have it so customized and you don't have problems. Like,
Yeah.
customization like begot
Well, like,
more problems, right?
When I say customization, I mean like
A settings tweak.
He's got
a
like
registry.
automatic scripts that run.
task
things like
scheduler.
that.
I
I
do a
see.
lot of things from task scheduler.
Like what?
So-
Like what? What kind of life you living over there, Jaron?
I have a TV that I use as a monitor, and because of that, it doesn't turn on automatically with the computer because it's a TV, not a monitor. And so I didn't want to use my remote to turn on the TV every time I went down to my computer. And
This
so
right here, just,
I'm
push
using my
okay, push
old
the button.
Logitech Harmony Hub
Oh yeah, I have one of
that
those.
I don't use anymore except for this purpose. And I found a very old Python script that will help control it. And then
And it turns on your TV. It turns on the TV.
And then I
just
use
like
Task Scheduler to automatically turn on my TV when I pushed a button on my keyboard, and then it'll automatically turn off the TV when I sleep it.
What's
Yeah.
funny about all that is Jaron is the biggest anti-kludge guy I've ever met in my life, and what he described
so
as
kludgy.
the kludgiest of kludges.
But it works because it's all in the background. I don't have to touch it.
as long as
Until it doesn't
That's-
work, and you're gonna spend 7 hours fixing it.
that's what.
Oh,
kludge-
and I have.
that's what kludge is.
It just
It
works.
just
until
works
it doesn't.
finally until it doesn't. Anyway, we're getting off track here. Maybe good news for Jaron. In the latest,
You know what? I just need a new monitor. That's all I need, and then I can do it.
I've thought about that actually, because I also run a 48-inch TV like Jaron does, and actually Jaron runs a 48-inch TV like I do because I had it first.
No, you said it right the first time.
Nope. And I've often thought it would be easier if I just got a regular monitor instead of a TV. But nobody makes a 42 or a 48-inch OLED that's 4K 120.
I thought that G9.
they do.
I think
thought
they
that
do.
Yeah,
Is that
MSI
new?
has one. I sent it to Owen.
Oh,
months
that's right.
ago.
There is
Yeah.
one. There is one, but it's not worth it just so I don't have to push the power button. I want extra features that make it worth it.
This
is
will be
what
the
I'm
year of
getting
the 4K monitor at CES.
at. Maybe.
It will. There's already
I think
been
it
a
is.
lot
I
of
think it
stuff
is,
that's been
yeah.
No
pre-announced.
42 inches though.
Yeah,
That's what I need.
I'm fine with 32.
No,
Honestly,
I gotta have 42 or 48. Anyway, back to this story about Windows 11 reinstall. Yep. In one of the latest versions of Windows 11 in the beta ARM, there is a feature they're calling Fix Problems Using Windows Update. Now, this feature is still a work in progress, so it doesn't actually do anything or work quite right yet. However, when they do get it working, according to the description of this, it says it will reinstall your current version of Windows, and then in parentheses it says your apps, files, and settings will be preserved. So this is like Mac OS has this already, where you can reinstall Mac OS over the top and you don't have to reinstall your applications and all that stuff. It just puts everything back to how it was. And so if they're getting towards this with Windows 11, you could do a reinstall without having to redo everything on your
Jaron
computer.
could keep his kludge.
But
you
that's
could.
the thing. But that's the thing. If it's keeping file locations and stuff, that means it's keeping registry settings.
yeah.
You know,
I
and I feel like-
wonder how this will work.
Yeah.
So that's why we don't know exactly how it'll work yet. But man, if it actually works, well, I guarantee there's registry stuff in there that people have messed up that aren't dependent on their applications.
True.
So it would fix that kind of stuff.
True.
And then your computer would work again. But anyway,
Only adjust things in the registry responsibly, please,
and then reboot.
And then reboot.
Always.
if you need to.
No.
Here we go. Here we don't have time. We don't have time for this. We don't have time for this, guys. No.
We're overtime
anyway.
as it is.
I saw that and I thought that's pretty rad. Also, speaking of Windows 11, 2024 might be the start of the ARM revolution for Windows
Bull
on
crap.
PC.
I do not believe it at all.
Maybe. There's a very interesting article here PC Gamer put out. It actually doesn't have really anything to do with gaming other than they're saying at the end that they still don't think it would work very good for gaming. But,
Right.
what they're talking about here is a new version of Windows that is codenamed Geranium. And
Geronium?
nope, Geranium.
Geranium?
Germanium.
Geranium.
How germane.
You're killing me, Smalls. Germanium. And it is being built specifically to work with the new Snapdragon X Elite ARM SoC that Snapdragon is putting out this year.
Is it going to be a what's that word?
Kieran pauses long this time.
Translation layer or a
That's what we don't know. So we don't know yet if it's going to be a translation layer or an emulation.
emulation? There we go.
To
Couldn't think of
put x86 stuff on the ARM
if it's
architecture.
if it's emulation, it's going to be crap.
If it's emulation, it will not be very good. But if they actually have a translation layer working, like Rosetta 2,
Right.
then it
So
could
they're
be
basically going
pretty-
the other way, right? ARM to x86, or do you think it's
No.
going the other way?
x86 to ARM.
Okay.
Because
So
there's no.
everything's x86 right now in
Oh, right.
Windows. Besides,
Well,
a
there
very
is some ARM, but it's
crappy
crap.
little offshoot that runs ARM that's
Yeah.
just trash.
And the other piece
And
of this puzzle is that new Snapdragon processor that we talked about a couple months ago.
supposedly
but-
pretty good.
Yeah, they were comparing it to the M2, which is now the older processor, and even then, like, couldn't match it in like sustained performance.
But it's a huge leap for PC though.
It
if
is.
you're
It would be
comparing-
massive.
be, yeah.
It would be the equivalent of getting like 80% of the performance of your 80% plus of the performance of your x86 laptops, but with way better battery life.
Yeah.
So for everything besides gaming, it might be actually worth it if it runs good. So
In a laptop, not on a desktop.
no, and they talk about that a little bit too, because PC gamers and desktop users usually they usually are looking for big power big power jumps and things like that, and you're not going to get that with the ARM stuff.
No.
So at least not yet. And the other thing that ARM would do as well is it has an integrated GPU, so that would also benefit battery life and things on a laptop, but you don't care about that on a desktop. If you're a power user, you're going to still be throwing in your own GPU that you put separately in there. So interesting. We'll see what happens there. I'm very excited to see if they actually pull something neat off there with x80 or ARM stuff. All right, let's see. Let's talk about. Let's do. I think we'll close with this: an update on the McDonald's ice cream hackers.
Yeah.
Updates.
Yeah.
So we got a update on the Kitschy versus McDonald's. You guys, just to recap on this, Kitschy. So first of all, McDonald's ice cream machines, super notorious for being broken. Broken. In fact, there's a website for it. You can track. People will report in their ice cream machine's broken, and you can actually track.
Update.
Yeah, you can track across the country what McDonald's ice cream machines are working and which ones aren't. Kitschy, and they're also very
Is it kitschy?
kitschy, right?
I think it's
Or is it-
Kitsch.
Is it kitsch?
KYTCH.
Oh, it's just kitsch. Sorry, it is just kitsch. So kitsch. They with these ice cream machines also very closed. No right to repair. Like send a tech. They're
it's a
also
whole
understaffed. It's hard to get parts. It's hard to get people. The machines will be down for a long time. This loses these franchisees a lot of money on their ice cream, right? And so Kitsch comes in and creates and breaks into the software of these things and basically puts a bunch of alerts and stuff that you can program yourself and diagnosis codes like, hey, this nozzle is blocked. That's all. If you clear out this nozzle, the
That's a
machine
good
starts
excuse.
working again, right?
Yep.
And McDonald's did not like that, and neither
course
did
not.
the parent company, Peters. It's been a minute, sir. Sorry, Middleby. Middleby, they basically got into a lawsuit with somebody else, and it's kind of the same thing with Discovery. When those emails were sent, they became public domain and searchable. And these guys at Kitsch finally found the smoking gun, the email that insinuates but doesn't insinuate that they need to do something about this. If you don't know what happened, Kitsch, they were selling products. This thing sold itself. They came in, they said this fixes your ice cream machine, gives you the power. McDonald's and Middleby didn't like that, and they put out an email to all of their franchise owners that were like, this could damage your device. It could cause
safety issue.
it's safety issue. It could hurt your employees. It could start your place on fire. Like
I think
basically,
the big part of that was you could also lose your franchise license
yeah,
too.
exactly, and any support and any future support for your
Yeah,
machine.
it was just
right?
like it was
This
so
voids your
bad.
warranty.
We're like, we don't
Yeah.
want to have this thing anymore.
And they were just like,
we'll deal with
there
the
was
dumb
like,
support.
exactly. There was like better to have something than nothing. Anyway, they found an email that basically, from the parent company of McDonald's, that says, go ahead and we need to do something about this. It's all shady. One of Lando's stories, I think a year ago or more now.
It was a long time ago. Yeah.
They hired people, or they called up and tried to get a prototype, and they now like offer their own. They're offering their own version of this. And Kitsch has just gone completely under, right? Like the only thing they're left to do now is fight for their honor, right? There's no business left, so to speak, particularly with all the fees and like legal fees of this. They just want to prove that McDonald's did it, like that it was done, get some money out of it, and walk away. But yeah, so there's this email. I want to find it, but it's buried here, and we don't have the time.
Let's see.
Well,
I found it right here. On
where is
November
it?
2nd,
There it
2020,
is.
a little over 2 weeks after Fitzgerald's open-ended suggestion that perhaps a communication
Suggestion.
from McDonald's or Middleby to franchisees could slow up adoption of the other solution, McDonald's sent out its email blast cautioning restaurant owners not to use the Kitsch's
Yeah.
product. The email stated that the Kitsch gadget, quote, allows complete access to all aspect of the equipment's controller and confidential data, end quote, meaning Taylor's and McDonald's data, not the restaurant owner's data, that it, quote, creates a potential very serious safety risk for the crew or technician attempting to clean or repair the machine, end quote, and finally that it could cause, quote, serious human injury, end quote.
Right.
The
Yeah,
email
so they're-
concluded with a warning in italics and bold saying, quote, McDonald's strongly recommends that you remove the Kitsch device from all machines
Right.
and discontinue
So
use.
an email comes from the parent company down to McDonald's and say, hey, maybe we need to say something about the quote other solution. And that the Kitsch claims that's them directly talking about them. And then 2 or 3 days later, that's the email that McDonald's sends out. And the guys at Middleby and McDonald's saying, no, that's not connected. That was some other
Unrelated.
And Kitsch is saying this is just like a mob boss being like, be a really horrible thing if someone were go over there and slash those tires.
Protection money. you know?
Yeah, like it's just like it was an indirect but direct request from them to do something, and then 2 days later McDonald's sends out that email that basically torpedoes Kitsch's entire business. So that's what I haven't heard yet if this has gone further, but it's still in the works to see if they can prove that somebody did something on purpose.
That's what they're going for.
That's what they're going for.
Can they prove?
I wonder.
Just like most lawsuits, can they prove that somebody did something on purpose?
Yeah, on purpose. Like
That's
they're trying to
wonderful.
they're trying
commentary,
to shy.
Owen.
Yeah, they're trying to shy away from making them prove a negative because you can't. Like, we can't prove you didn't do it anyway.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on it and keep you updated as things unfold. All right, I think that wraps it up for today. But before we get out of here and move on to Geek Show Arcade, we need to give a big shout out to our awesome Patreon backers, patreon.com/gadgetspot. We appreciate you and all of your support that you've given to us over the years and are currently giving to us. If you donated $6 a month or more, you get a shout out on the air, which Jaron has for us right now.
I would, but you skipped all my stories.
I already told you. These weren't happening until next week.
Oh, whatever. Anyway, thanks to David Broshinsky, Connor Keesaw, and Wolfball Tony. Thank you. Si Se Puede, Reap Rewards rebooting router registries religiously. Andy Bird, Be the 8-Year-Old, Travis Johnson, by Geek Show Arcade Helpdesk stickers at Pieman Graphics on Etsy. All proceeds go to Lee George Cade's medical bills.
Yeah.
Jeremy, No Name No Color, Keslow, Eric Steinman, Eric Cruz. Owen has no tech cred.
you
Matt-
lied. That's not what it says. Come on, take that back.
Why don't you look it up?
I don't want to. That's what you're for. Tell me that's a lie.
It's a lie.
Yes! Oh, that's trick card.
Matt Nelson, Mr. Hand, and Mr. Spicoli in 2024. Aloha, it's our time. Josh D, Adam, Aaron Faulkner, Stuart Lloyd, Joe, there's no place like G28, X0, Y0, Z0, Ryan M, and Adam Hecht. Thank you, guys.
All right. Thank you so much, Patreon backers. You are awesome. Well, that's it. The start of the new year. Well, and we will see you at Geek Show Arcade or next week on Geek Show Helpdesk.
Or in the in-between, if you're a Patreon listener.
Even sooner in the in-between. But until then, Lando, take us out.
Yeah, I've already rebooted. Be an end user.
Rebooted?
Rebooted.
Rebuked? Is that what you meant to say?
No, I said rebooted.
Oh.
I said what I said.
It hurts.